King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer, Buckingham Palace has just announced. The diagnosis was made recently while the monarch, 75, had treatment at the London clinic for a benign enlarged prostate. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said, quote, "During the King's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted. Subsequent diagnostic tests have identified a form of cancer. His Majesty has today commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which time he has been advised by doctors to postpone public-facing duties. Throughout this period, His Majesty will continue to undertake state business and official paperwork as usual. The King is grateful to his medical team for their swift intervention, which was made possible thanks to his recent hospital procedure. He remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. His Majesty has chosen to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation and in the hope it may assist public understanding for all those around the world who are affected by cancer." Buckingham Palace was not releasing any further details at this stage. The King is understood to have personally informed his sons William and Harry and his 3 siblings. The Duke of Sussex had spoken to the King about his cancer diagnosis and would be traveling to the UK to see him in the coming days, a source close to Harry said. The Duke did speak with his father about the diagnosis. He will be traveling to the UK to see His Majesty in the coming days, the source added. It's understood that the diagnosis is not of prostate cancer actually, in light of his separate diagnosis of benign prostate enlargement. The King is understood to have returned to London from Sandringham on Monday morning to begin treatment as an outpatient. The King is postponing any public-facing duties while undergoing treatment at the same time as the Princess of Wales also postpones her public engagements while recuperating from the abdominal surgery that she just underwent, also at the London clinic. Catherine, Princess of Wales, had determined to keep her medical details private, but with her also out of action, she is not expected to return to public duties until after Easter. It presents problems for the monarchy, which is significantly diminished in the number of working royals because of the departure of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry will travel to the UK after it was announced that King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer, a source told NBC News. Although this news of King Charles is saddening, this is not the only health concerns the royal family have seen recently. Like I spoke about earlier, Princess Kate has also been in and out of the hospital recently, and she will have, quote, unprecedented influence if she goes public with her diagnosis, a royal commentator has claimed. Kate, who is now 42, underwent planned abdominal surgery in January. However, no specific details about the operation were released to the public. It's unknown if the princess will open up about her hospitalization once she returns to royal duties. But Kate's openness could have a very positive impact, according to royal commentator Emily Nash. She said, quote, "If she does choose to share her diagnosis in the future, it will go stratospheric. Potential for her to raise awareness is probably unprecedented, so I'm sure that will be something that is on her mind." Nash also told a Right Royal podcast, "She is such an influencer in many ways. She really inspires people, whether it's to go and buy the outfit she's wearing or to change government policy." The princess was being treated at the London clinic where she remained for 13 days following her surgery. This was also the same hospital where King Charles received his corrective surgery for the enlarged prostate. When the Queen was alive, she also went through her fair share of injuries and health scares. She had a brush with ill health, being struck with a cold, which rendered both the Queen and Prince Philip unable to attend the year's Christmas Day service, the first time they had missed it in 28 years. 1994 saw the Queen break her left wrist when her horse tripped during a ride on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, while in 1993 the monarch missed Commonwealth Day because she had a bad flu. Going back even further, in July 1982 she had a wisdom tooth extracted, and in 1949 she caught measles from a baby Prince Charles. The late Princess Diana also faced numerous health struggles. In 1992, Andrew Morton published his biography on Princess Diana called Diana: Her True Story. It contains explosive details about Diana's eating struggles, something long rumored in the press but never called this extensively. Turns out his source for it was Diana herself, who, through an intermediary, passed the author confessional tapes. The issue started the week after we got engaged and would take nearly a decade to overcome, the princess recorded herself saying. My husband put his hand on my waistline once and said, "Oh, a bit chubby here," and that triggered something in me. Reports at the time also suggested that Diana's deep unhappiness with her relationship with Charles served as her major trigger. The eating issues Diana developed within a year of becoming princess was not, as Charles' friends have suggested, an illness, which made a marriage go sour. Come 1995, Diana didn't need an intermediary to fight her battles. In an interview with the BBC, interviewer Martin Bashir asked her about it point blank. It was subsequently reported that you suffered from eating issues. Is this true? Yes, I did, she replied. I had it for a number of years, and it is like a secret disease you inflict it upon yourself because your self-esteem is at a low ebb and you don't think you're worthy or valuable. Her raw and candid confession sent shockwaves through the world at the time. Eating struggles were rarely talked about openly. To have a global superstar to do so on such a stage challenged a major societal stigma. For Princess Diana to speak openly about these behaviors and thoughts really shows her strength and her dedication to helping others. It's likely that most people would never even have known she was fighting this disorder. Dr. Kendra Becker, a clinical psychologist, tells Vogue of Diana's legacy. Her example not only destigmatizes eating issues themselves, but also sets an example for seeking help and addressing the shame around these behaviors, thoughts, and feelings that allow them to persist. Prince Harry is another royal family member with a past of health issues. He shares in his new memoir that he struggled with agoraphobia, an anxiety disorder that causes intense fear in certain situations, such as among crowds. This fear can be so severe that people avoid leaving home ever. According to NBC News, Harry writes, quote, I was an agoraphobe, which was nearly impossible given my public role. He also recalls that he nearly fainted during one speech that he, quote, couldn't be avoided or cancelled. Agoraphobia is defined as an excessive, irrational fear of being in open or unfamiliar places, resulting in the avoidance of public situations from which escape may be difficult, according to the American Psychological Association. This can mean a fear of open or enclosed spaces, crowds, public transportation, or other places outside a person's home. For some people, the further away they get from home, the less safe they feel emotionally, and the more they have a sense of impending doom, said Gregory Jantz, a clinical psychologist. Some people with agoraphobia may also have a panic disorder, a type of anxiety that involves panic attacks. A panic attack is a sudden feeling of extreme fear with symptoms such as rapid heart rate, trouble breathing, lightheadedness or dizziness, sudden flushing or chills, or excessive sweating. According to a report published in Turnbridge.com, throughout his 20s, Prince Harry feels that he was a problem because he, quote, didn't speak up about his struggles. I didn't know how to deal with it, he says, and because of this, his suffering affected those around him. No one knew he was hurting. The only thing about keeping it quiet is that it's only ever going to make it worse, not just for you, but for everybody else around you as well. In his Apple TV series with Oprah Winfrey, Prince Harry revealed some of his symptoms and triggers. Panic attacks, severe anxiety, and 28 to probably 32 was a nightmare time in my life. From freaking out every single time I jump in the car and every single time I see a camera. Harry went into detail on this, explaining that he would do anything just to cope with the feelings he was battling silently. Harry says that he was willing to drink and do substances to escape the things that hurt him. Quote, I was willing to try and do the things that made me feel less like I was feeling, he said. This is common of people struggling with a mental illness. They use different substances to self-medicate. However, this can exacerbate mental health issues. Our thoughts are with the royal family as they go through various health struggles, and especially to King Charles. We hope he has a speedy recovery. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Subscribe to stay updated on all things celebrity. In 2016, being struck with a cold, which rendered both that's news.